Reactions have continued to trail the suspension of Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, by President Muhammadu Buhari and the subsequent swearing-in of Justice Tanko Mohammed as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. With a debate over the constitutionality or otherwise of the action of the president still topping the discourse in many fora across the country, some lawyers and civil society organizations in a World Press Conference in Abuja on Saturday stated that any attempt to reinstate Onnoghen will bring the nation's judiciary into ridicule before the international community.
The preponderance of reactions has been that the suspension of the former CJN to pave way for a fair trial of his case at the Code of Conduct Tribunal and to save the judiciary from disrepute is a step in the right direction. A narrow but fierce minority, please take note, fierce minority has launched a campaign to muddle the issues and create the impression that the removal of a CJN that willfully violated the laws of Nigeria is a rape of democracy. The only fortunate thing is that the position being canvassed as that of the NBA is nothing but the view of a few people that are fortunate to currently be at the helms of its affairs. For we have seen many lawyers have voiced opinions that support the steps President Buhari has taken. Buoyed by the wrong premises advanced by the PDP and NBA, a few Nigerians have also come in their personal capacities or as groups to repeat the misleading arguments that the suspension of a corrupt judge is a threat to democracy. I wonder how. Nothing can be further from the truth. The real danger to democracy is allowing mobster judge continue to lead the most important arm of government, for the judiciary remains the hope of the common man.
Speaking under the aegis of lawyers of conscience, civil society organizations, and professionals without border, the group commended President Muhammadu Buhari for taking the anti-corruption fight to the judicial arm of government and urged the federal government not to bow to pressure from the opposition parties and a few Nigerians who are not happy with the ouster of the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
We salute the courage of President Buhari for daring to take on corruption in the judiciary, even on the threshold of elections, without fearing that he could lose the votes of those that may be positively disposed to keeping that arm of government corrupt. Yet we acknowledge the imperative of taking this step, which is obvious.
The group further decried the low conviction rate in the country despite the many suspected corrupt persons who have been arraigned in several courts across the country, stating that the entire war against corruption will be meaningless if the judiciary continues to remain compromised.
The entire war against corruption will be meaningless if the judiciary continues to remain rotten, since the conviction rate has remained dismal, even though many suspected corrupt persons have been arraigned. They simply get arraigned and then initiate a series of hanky-panky, that is, engage 20, 30 SANs. And at what cost? That means they never get convicted. Also ridiculous is that a man who has severally told litigants that ignorance is no excuse in law is trying to explain his own breach of the requirement to declare his assets as mistake and or forgetfulness. This has left us wondering how many of the pronouncements from him were mistakes, and in how many instances he forgot the facts of matters before him. The defense he has put up alone are grounds for him to leave. For what country will retain a mistake-prone and forgetful man as its #1 judge? It is most annoying that even this laughable defense is not being argued before the CCT, but in the court of public opinion, where the opposition paid propagandists have become noisemakers to a point where reason and facts have almost been drowned.
While hitting at the major opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, for stirring up controversy in its bid to sustain the corruption which the current administration have vowed to fight to a standstill, the group charged Nigerians to resist the temptation of being used by disgruntled elements to smear the image of the country abroad.
The situation becomes more frightening with the revelation that PDP candidates have started settling the embattled judge even before elections have taken place. Their anger at his suspension is directly connected to their fear of losing the money they had paid to him and the knowledge that his successor is not of his disposition. These groups here are aware that the PDP, because of the blow to its corrupt arrangement with the ex-CJN, has made plans to mobilize youths. And please take note, Nigerian youths, not their children, not their relations, that they have neatly tucked away in beautiful mansions and villas and homes across the world, in Europe, in America, in exotic islands, to create the impression of a popular uprising against the suspension of an ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria that failed to declare his assets as required by law. Some of these people being mobilized for the protest are members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Boko Haram, and the indigenous people of Biafra, that is IPOB, which are all terrorist groups. The goal is to torment the peace of the country in the name of mobilizing against President Muhammad Buhari's decision to save the judiciary from becoming a highest bidder's bazaar. It is important that lies are not documented as truth, for history will be perverted to record it so. To this end, we shall therefore be mobilizing the over 180 million Nigerians, women and youths across the nation, and all and sundry, to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which President Muhammad Buhari has defended in accordance with his own sworn oath.